Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It is Local Chat, episode 211. I'm your host, Will Crosby. Joining me this week, as always, the wonderful Ian Gibson.
Hello. Let me know when he gets here. I'd love to meet him.
That's the episode, folks. Thanks for tuning in. He's never...
See you next time.
Ian never comes, so he'll never be here. I was watching the clip from Thursday's stream where Jake repeated twice, oh, we're gonna come, or you're gonna come, and we're like, what?
Somebody come,
like... please. Oh, Jake loves to beg for it. Folks, we're here to talk about video games. We're here to talk about stuff. But first, we got a chit chat section. If we did local chat the way we used to, people would have known I wasn't here last week. But I guess we did have a Minecraft stream, so I wasn't here for the Minecraft stream. But I was in the great state of Florida last week, and I don't know why I said great state, because Florida sucks. But
well, you went too far. You went too far south. There are pockets of Florida that are nice, but a majority of it is not. And unfortunately, you were in an okay part. There are worse parts of Florida, but you were in an okay part.
That's true. I was in Cocoa Beach outside of Orlando, like 30 minutes outside of Orlando, which was nice. My parents rented an Airbnb down there, so my three brothers and our families all went down there, and it was a blast. There was a pool at the Airbnb, which was nice. We went on an airboat ride, which was quite fun.
Oh.
We last went on an airboat ride when I was little, and there's a joke in my family that we've been saying for years. So I must have been quite little.
Oh, can you say it on stream though?
Well, I can say the end. So we were on the airboat going, and the guy was like, this is when we were little, he was like telling us about the things and everything, and he's like, anyone have any questions? And my mom was like, oh yeah, those birds over there, like what kind of birds are they? And he goes, ma'am, them there are ducks. So
You've
my
said
family
that to me before.
always says them there are ducks. Them there are ducks. So we went on another airboat ride. This guy was really great. Lots of gators, lots of
really?
Herons, whatever those birds are, Blue Mountain thing, herons and stuff like that. There were also cows just like in the Everglades, just hanging out, eating stuff. And it was fun. I brought my Minolta camera, which the battery for the light sensor died. So I had accidentally left it on when I packed it away. And so I had to use my iPhone light app to like gauge the outdoor light, which it was daylight, so it was kind of okay. And then I just shot that the whole day. So I have to send those pictures off, and hopefully they're at least a little bit decent.
I was going to say, I wonder how accurate the iPhone app is.
The iPhone app is, I mean, it's super accurate. It's like what people use. A lot of the YouTubers I watch use it because they're doing like landscape photography in medium format, and they can like take the time to do that. Whereas I'm just shooting for fun, so it's not like I'm using it every single time. So I know what you're saying is like see what it's accurate to in the thing. But I was happy to use it because the one in my camera is actually off a little bit. I have to underexpose it, or else everything will be blown out. But hopefully those pictures come out great. I had my telephoto on and was like taking pictures. It was super fun. So hopefully that. And the other nice thing is I Amazoned 2 new batteries to the Airbnb that came like 2 days later. So I had those for when we went to Disney World.
Oh.
Actually, I skipped over. We did go to the Andretti, like indoor racing place.
Oh yeah, how was
on
that?
Monday when it rained? It was neat. We did a race. That was kind of fun. I had this. My brothers always make fun of me that I'm really slow in racing games, and they always have this joke that they let me win. I'm not actually winning, and makes me so mad. And so I did lose by like 2 seconds in this thing, but this motherfucker in front of us was like going like a quarter of the speed around and like wasn't letting people pass them. And it was so frustrating.
God.
And I also like, it wasn't clear delineation when it was fastest laps. So I didn't really know when the laps started. And I finally, on like my final lap, I was getting the groove of the turning where you're like, because when you're younger, you're like, drifting's awesome. And then as you get older, you're like, oh, I want to slow down for these corners because drifting costs me speed. And so I was finally dialing that in, and I got caught. Karen was in front of me, and she got caught behind them, and then I had to slow down. And I was like, God damn it! And they called the race, and I was like, oh, I was so close to like. I don't think I would have done that much better, but I was like, let's do it again. Like I got this dialed in.
Yeah.
But that place was pretty.
Yeah,
neat.
I haven't been to one of those, but there was one in Baltimore near us. I think there's one in Jacksonville, and they even do league, like kind of like a bowling league where it's like you show up and they'll track your times and all that. So, and they do actual races instead of just hot laps. And I've thought about doing it, but I'm lazy. Last time I got in a go-kart, my hip hurt immediately. So I think the go-kart position is not good for me. And the other thing is go-karts are tricky because like you talked about how you shouldn't be drifting, but in go-karts you kind of do want to drift a little bit because it's all about like they have so much traction that you can actually go through turns faster than you think, and you kind of want to oversteer a little bit, and then like you're kind of steering with the pedals instead of the wheel.
Yeah.
And there's a whole thing about go-karts that's tricky that I'm just too lazy to dive into it, but part of me wants to.
Yeah, you're right. I was fishtailing a lot at the beginning, and that was like, I don't want to be doing that. But you're right about that like sort of sweet spot. The other nice thing is the last time I went go-karting in Atlantic City, those go-karts sucked because if you rested your foot on the brake at all, it would shut the cart down. Because if gas and brake were on at the same time, it would stop the cart. And this place didn't do that. I mean, if you press the brake and gas at the same time, it would. But not if you just... And it was so much nicer because the other one kept screwing me.
And everything.
Because I was leaving my foot on the brake and it was doing all that. So it was fun. It makes me want to be like... I want to go to like a track day or something and be like, here's a shitty car. I can take it through this racetrack and like... test my skills. And I know that it's probably popular in some places in America. I know it's also popular in like Europe and stuff, doing track days, like bring your own car stuff. But I wish like I had a racetrack, an available open area racetrack near me.
You do. I mean, you're not that far from New Jersey Motorsports, which is close to Kyle. You're probably about 2 hours from there.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, because I've thought about it, and for a while the Miata I wanted to track it, but I needed to put a roll cage in, and I would have had to lower the seat because they do have some safety requirements and things like that. And I'm too tall for the Miata. Even if I put a roll bar in, I'm too tall with a helmet on. So
head sticking out like those original Formula One cars.
Yeah. So people do what they call a foamectomy, where you take the seat out, you cut almost all the foam out of the bottom, and you redo the seat rails just to get you like 4 inches lower in the car to pass they call it the broomstick test, because they put a broomstick across the top of the windshield and the top of the roll bar, and you have to have a certain amount of inches between your helmet and that broomstick. And I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to fit in there. But the other thing was doing the Nürburgring track day, which was basically an open day and somebody else was driving. You have to, it's not just you in the car, it's all the other people around you, which is why a lot of track days are like, we're not going to let you just, in the US at least, they're like, we're not going to let you just come on the track. You're going to have to come sit in one of our cars, go through a course, and the instructor will sit with you, and you have to do that several times, kind of like skydiving. You have to do that several times where you're driving, but somebody's there. It's very monitored. It's like rookies only session, no passing. Like they have to get used to you being able to do it before they let you like go hog wild on the track. But yeah, that's why go-karts are cool, because it's like you can just go to Andretti or whatever. Maybe when you're down here next time we should do that, because I know you don't admit it, but you're getting into this, and it's because of Gran Turismo 7 showing you like the art of racing, which most games don't do, you know.
I feel like, you know how there's those things in the world that you're like, you think you might be good at, but you have no way of knowing. It's like there's probably people who think there would be like an awesome hitman or something like that. there's part of me that thinks I'd be a pretty good racing driver. And I'm not saying like necessarily like fast or like top tier, but I think I would be good at racing. But I just like, I don't have the avenue to go test that out other than now being like iRacing and Gran Turismo and stuff like that.
iRacing's fantastic because iRacing has an incredibly good matchmaking system where they will, you find a bunch of like-minded people. They get rid of the yahoos and the idiots very quickly because they were literally just fucking ban them from the platform. And then they have a great ranking system and rating system, both a safety rating and like a racer's rating that you can work at. And it's pretty humbling at first because you're you're struggling to do a single lap without crashing the car, right? And then even when you're doing that, you're like 3, 4, 5 seconds off the pace. But once you start getting it and you start doing it well, it feels fantastic. So that's my recommendation. Chase that feeling. Try out iRacing for a bit. You know, just like get a month subscription. They have a bunch of free cars and free tracks that are fantastic. Especially like literally start with the Miata. That's like the rookie road one, and it's really good.
Okay, I'll get back to you on it.
I literally today I was like, I should do more iRacing. So maybe there's something there where you and I are like practice sessions together and we like join the same races and we're like we're getting back into it together and then get banned from the platform.
Speaking of getting banned, no, I'm kidding. Disney day one, Tuesday, we were there. We went to Magic Kingdom with my 2 nephews, the whole family. And it was great. It was super fun. My nephews had a blast. They really liked Pirates of the Caribbean. We went on it twice. Once in the morning and once during the fireworks. There was nobody there, which was great.
Oh, that's great.
And then we also went on Haunted Mansion, which they also really enjoyed. The children. Those are like that. You can see, especially on Pirates of the Caribbean, you can see the difference between the animatronics of the originals and the Jack Sparrow that they added, who's a lot more fluid. But those, it's still so good. It's so like there's
even the original stuff, right?
Even the original stuff, and yes, it's still herky jerky. But there's a moment where you're like, I'm here. I'm in Tortuga. Yeah. And like all this stuff, and the changes they made, the like politically correct changes are great. They have I think my brother was pointing them out, which they used to be selling prostitutes, was it, or something like that? There's an auction,
slaves,
but now no, I don't think it was slaves. My brother said it was. I think it was they were betting on like prostitutes or something. And then they now it's animals they're selling, which is funny.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, people in cages. Yeah. And then it used to be the pirates chasing women in the like brothels, but now they have the women chasing the pirates around to like kick them out. And I was like, that's a funny funny. They were just like, let's reverse it. Like that fixes the issue. And it's like pretty funny. And then they added in like Jack Sparrow in certain parts, and I think Barbossa talks, but that whole ride is still super cool. You're in it. You're seeing all the cool pirate shit. I forgot there's a drop at the beginning. When you're like first go in, he's like, it will tell you the tale, and it cuts to black, and the cart like goes, or the water boat goes down like a tiny little incline. But the first time it was a little soft. The second time we were on the ride, it like hit the barrier at the bottom and like splashed up. And I was like, that seems a little heavy. But overall, still an awesome ride. Haunted Mansion's still cool. We did Ariel's Undersea Adventure, which is another dark ride, which from a child's perspective is probably an awesome ride. From an adult's perspective, it felt like another theme park's attempt at making a Disney ride. Like it just felt cheap and not fully put together. And again, it was very much for little kids, so I think that's why. But like the immensity and amazingness of like Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion, you're just like, oh, okay. But I think the other issue is it had to be a lot brighter in the Ariel's one versus the other two. So I'm not going to really knock it for that. It was pretty neat. And then towards the end of the day, Karen and I went on Tron, which is the light cycle. So I don't know if the stream knows this. I don't know if Ian knows this. I hate roller coasters. I don't do roller coasters. I'm not a roller coasters guy. My favorite roller coaster is Thunder Mountain, and it was closed because they're retracking it, and I was very upset by that. My other favorite roller coasters, there's one at Six Flags New England. It was an old wooden coaster that was definitely about to fall down, and it was awesome. It was so awesome, and I loved it. So we go on Tron, and Karen loves roller coasters, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this roller coaster with her because not that no one else wanted to, but they were all busy, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it with her. She wants someone to go on the roller coaster with her, so we get in line. I think it was 75 minutes for the wait. Which actually
it's not terrible.
Wasn't terrible. We checked on the weekend. We've just been checking the app the weekend we got back, and it was up to 130 minutes at some of those.
Yeah, because Tron's new as well. Yeah. So yeah.
So we waited in line. Got through it all. The inside of Tron is really cool. Like while you're inside, you see the people getting launched. You go through. Then there's lockers. You put your stuff away in. Karen neglected to tell me she found out in line that it is Disney's fastest roller coaster that goes 65 miles an hour. So we get in line, get in the carts. Side note, so this is one that you sit in like a motorcycle, like Tron.
No, thank you.
Clamps down on your back. Your legs are like locked in.
Thank you.
You're holding onto this. At the very back of it, they have 2 upright seats that like handicapped people can sit in, which I thought was awesome. Because there's this one handicapped guy who got in there who I was like, good on you, man. Like, get on this fucking ride. And I was like happy they offer that. Like, that's cool. So we get in, go around the corner, and we're like in the launching area. And in my head, I'm like, I really wish I wasn't on this.
I know, yeah.
And it goes. And we start speeding up. And we continue to speed up to 65 fucking miles an hour. I moaned the entire time. I just went,
it was that good?
Like, I was out of it.
You don't scream? You don't scream?
I can't. I just, you are going to die kicks in so hard. My hands cramped afterwards because I was gripping the thing so hard. It's the upward motion. Everything in my body is saying absolutely not.
Yes, yeah. But so for me, like in those situations, I just start screaming, just constantly.
It's awful. I clam up. I can't. I want to. Like, that'd be great, but I can't. I just can't. I can't. And so we go through it, and they're like, the story of the ride is like, you're gonna collect 8 light cycle gates. Yeah, you're gonna die. And it was kind of neat thinking back on it. Like, it's all underground, indoors. There's screens on the side. You see the other like teams around you, like crisscrossing you and everything. And so I was counting the gates as we needed 8, and I was like 5, 6. I was like so happy. We were so close. And then we end and we get into this long hallway, and Karen's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was just like thumbsing up, like, and she's like letting go and everything. And I'm like, no, I can't, like, because there was a curve up ahead. I was like, there's gonna be more somehow. Like, they're gonna do more. And they didn't, thankfully. We pulled in, and it was the last thing we did that day, and I was very happy it was the last thing we did. Because I was like,
good.
Oh,
I bet.
I would do it again, but I wouldn't. That's my day. That's the problem. That was it.
You're done after that. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we went to lunch after that or something, and then we stayed. We were at Disney World 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. to 10 p.m.
I could see it. Magic Kingdom's got a lot going on. Yeah, I could see it.
And with the kids and everything, it was super fun. My parents left a little early because my mom's knee was bothering her, and they were kind of done. They left during fireworks, which was an incredible time to leave because no one was doing anything. So that was great. Then that was Tuesday. Then Wednesday we went to the beach, which was great. I bought a kite. I was flying the kite. That was kind of cool. It was a Spitfire, I think, or a Mustang plane, which was pretty neat. And then my brother was out in the water, and I was like, I'll go out in the water and just like swim in the water for a little bit because it's fun in the water. The water's great. So we go out in the water. And we're out there, and we're getting deeper and deeper. We're riding the Hawaiian roller coaster ride. It's pretty fun going up and down on the waves. And then a wave hits me. And then I think to myself, oh, that's weird. I can't see anymore. The wave knocked my glasses off.
Oh, man. I can't believe you went in with your glasses on. Not because I expect you not to, but I would be paranoid about losing them.
I don't know why. Karen will attest to this. I was so paranoid about losing my glasses on the roller coasters. Like, yeah. And I'm always paranoid. And Karen was on her phone. I got up to go. I gave her my ring because I didn't want to lose my ring. And then in my head, what I keep telling myself is I just thought we were going to be standing like, waist deep, like in the water. Because that's where Zach was at that point. And Alexander was out a little further. Yeah. And I just wasn't thinking about it. And so I lost my glasses. We were looking for them. And then I go up on the beach, and Karen's like, it's weird. You gave me your ring, and I was looking to where you put your glasses. And I went, I lost them in the water.
I put them in the ocean.
So thankfully, fast-acting Karen, best wife on the planet, calls up a Lens Crafters. We go over to Lens Crafters. I give them... They refuse to take... I have my stuff on Zenny, and they need a prescription. So they were. Oh, and because
Zenny's not the prescription; it's just a record of the numbers from your previous.
Exactly. So Karen had a picture of my prescription from 2021 somehow. I don't know why she has it. So they made glasses, and I spent They weren't ready till the next day, so I spent the rest of the day with my sister-in-law's glasses, who were the closest without going over to my prescription. Which worked pretty well. It did not work very well for the SpaceX launch that we watched from the same beach. And I also took photos of blindly with my camera on a $15 tripod from Walmart, which that rocket launch was that private lunar lander, which I think just landed. And that was really neat to watch. I can't wait to see those pictures, which are probably terrible.
And that was kind of a night. Was that a night launch?
Yeah, it was 7 p.m.
Evening launch.
Yeah, it was pretty dark. I ended up just holding my shutter open over and over again, and just sort of timing it. But I'm not expecting anything good to come from those. But it was cool to see, and I like from what I saw, it was pretty neat to watch it arc up, and it lit up the sky and everything. So it was cool. And then you saw it. You saw like the halo around it, and then the other thing re-enter the booster and everything. So that was super neat. Thursday was a relaxation day. I think we went mini golfing. I picked up my new glasses that I'm currently wearing. They're terrible and I hate them. My new Zennies come tomorrow, and then these will be returned to Lens Crafters because I want my $357 back.
I was about to say, buddy. Jeez. I mean, I know you didn't have much of an option, but yeah. There's a reason people go to Zenny now.
I know. Thankfully, Lens Crafters has a return policy, so I will be returning these glasses because fuck them. I wouldn't be so apt to return them if it was my current prescription, but this is old and has prism in it, and I don't like it anymore, so I'm excited to switch back. Friday, Karen and I went back to Disney, and we did Hollywood Studios and Epcot. I will race through as fast as possible. Galaxy's Edge, I have my thermal detonator. That was pretty cool.
I know, it's so cool, isn't it? Like Maggie was like, "Why are you buying so dumb?" And I was like, "I need this. I have."
It's $6.50 for a Coke at Disney. I might as well pay $6.50 and get it in a cool fucking bottle. So exactly. I have it home. I rinsed it out. I also found out there's some great 3D printer plans and Arduino stuff to make your own little thermal detonator with like LEDs and stuff. And I was like, that's a fun soldering project to put together. So I think I might do that. Did you
get the popcorn bucket?
I did not get the popcorn bucket. What's the popcorn bucket?
It's right there.
Oh, okay.
It's like a
First Order.
damaged stormtrooper's helmet, and it's almost like normal size.
That's
And it
cool.
was, I think it was $28, and you got that plus full of popcorn. And I was like, I have to buy this.
That's neat. They had stormtrooper helmets, but they were the First Order helmets, and I was like, I really just want a regular stormtrooper helmet. That's the one thing that
Yeah.
pisses me off about Galaxy's Edge. It's like, why did you make it based on the worst Star Wars movies? Like,
Well, did you see the news about? I mean, news, but for some reason, because I looked up Disney stuff, now I get served a bunch of Disney stuff. And one of them was they are backing away from that specific timeline for Galaxy's Edge because now they're just introducing a lot of stuff there across multiple timelines. So it's no longer a specific like First Order location. That'll still be there, but they're bringing in stuff from other timelines as well.
oh, thank goodness. I was happy to see they still have Star Tours there and like the AT-AT and the Ewok Village.
Yeah.
I was afraid they had gotten rid of that, so it was cool to see that. Yeah, so we did Smuggler's Run, which was neat. It was a 20-minute wait. I think it ended up being 15 minutes. And since there were two of
That's not
us,
bad.
we filled in with a group of 4, so we got pulled forward.
Yeah.
And we were the engineers, which was cool, but
That's what Maggie and I did.
it's
Yeah.
definitely the like, I wouldn't say it's the worst. I feel like the guns were the worst because you're just hitting the same button over and over again. The engineer was
Yeah.
fun because you're like you're flipping the switches, hitting the buttons.
Yeah.
The
And
pilots were these.
you could see everybody in front of
Yeah.
you too. So you're like,
So
yeah.
the only other position I would want to be was the pilots, but the pilots on
Yep.
ours were these 2 kids, and they kept crashing into things, so we kept having to fix the ship. So I was like,
it was
"Fuck yeah."
great, right? Yeah,
So-
the same thing happened to us.
We were
Yeah.
basically like, because I told them what you had said. It's like it's not. I think you had said it's not worth waiting that long to get into, but it was like a fun little experience to go on.
Yeah,
And I was like,
exactly.
basically agreed. Like if that one was 75 minutes, I would be like, no. But like 20 minutes, I'll
Yeah.
go right in and do that. And that was fun. We did the Toy Story Mania, which was just a shooting gallery, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was fun. I bought a Buzz Lightyear. Actually, is it on camera? You can't quite see it. It's up there.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see it. Yeah.
I bought it because it was $35, which seemed like a steal, and B, it's in the like Toy Story World packaging for like Buzz
Yeah,
Lightyear.
that's cool.
So I was like, that's cool. That'll look cool on a shelf. And I've always wanted a big Buzz Lightyear, so to come and ravage.
So
me.
you guys, you weren't able to do Rise of the Resistance at Galaxy's Edge?
We didn't know what it was, and then by the time we got there, it was an 80-minute wait, and we still wanted to go over to Epcot and get lunch. So we left and went over to Epcot. We took the Skyline over to Epcot,
Skyliner. Yeah.
which was cool. And then in Epcot, we went all around the world at Epcot. Got some food. We got fish and chips, and then I got a Moroccan mule in Morocco, which was fucking fantastic. Karen got a cider at the Outpost in Canada, where the people said they were from New Zealand, and
Yeah, where Martin Short is. Yeah.
yeah, and then we waited in line for the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which was another 75-minute wait, which is
that's the roller coaster.
it's a roller coaster. And if we remember from previous in the story, Will doesn't like roller coasters.
Yes.
So
that's right.
Will
Sorry,
went
I
on
just
this
got confused
one.
because I think the
Tower of Terror in Disney California
is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Is Guardians of the
themed
Galaxy
now.
as well.
Yeah.
Or California Adventure. The inside for this ride, the waiting in lines is really cool. It's presented as a mission from Xandar, which is the planet in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It's like a ambassador. What is it called? Like a outreach mission from Xandar, and they put this roller coaster here to like teach everyone about Xandar and like meet with Earth and all that sort of stuff. Then you get on the ride and they're like, oh, there's this guy who stole this thing and we have to go through this time portal and go fight him. It's a wild roller coaster. You get on it, it takes you one way, all of the carts individually spin and move on themselves. They're not spinning, but they move on themselves. And then you get launched backwards at the beginning, and it just like took my breath away. I was like, oh my God. And you're like going down super fast, like spinning around these things. At one point, there's like fucking shit going on that I couldn't care less about because I think I'm gonna die. There's 6 different random songs that can play. We got One Way or Another, which was a pretty good song to go on the roller coaster to. At one point you're like spinning around a moon that's in the center, and then the universe, and then Earth, and all this stuff. It was a wild ride because you could not see, like kind of like Space Mountain, which I've never been on, but you can't quite see where you're going on Space Mountain. It was like that, but you could see a little bit. But it was neat. I still felt gross afterwards, and I'm glad we did it at the end of the day. But like when you went into the turns, your cart would turn to face the middle, so you were like feeling the forces. It was like almost like you were drifting. Yeah. It was really cool, and anyone who likes roller coasters and maybe doesn't, like, I would highly recommend that Guardians of the Galaxy ride because it was really fun. It had a cool like little storyline and the music and everything, but it was just, you didn't know what was going to happen next, and then I couldn't fathom the room I was in to house this thing. Even that Tron one, you go outside for a little bit, so it kind of makes sense, but like it was just absolutely wild. So the Guardians of the Galaxy ride was pretty cool, but after that Karen's like, let's get some water, let's get a little bit of food, and let's go home, please, because we were wiped. 2 days at Disney, thankfully a couple days apart, and then Saturday we flew out. So that was my Florida trip.
Nice vacation.
It was quite fun, other than losing my glasses, but my new ones come tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. That's it. I want to stop talking now so we can move to the video game section. And Ian Gibson, please.
Yeah.
I'll go to you first. That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Please tell me about your S&M fetish.
Yeah. I haven't been playing any games.
God damn it.
I'm in a weird it's like half rut where I'm bouncing between things. Like I played a little bit of Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and I'm like, still love this game, don't want to play some more right now. And then I played some not Parkitect, what's the other one? Planet Coaster. I played some Planet Coaster 1. Bounced off that like I usually do. Playing some Minecraft, but I've bounced off that. I think I mentioned this to Jake last week. I didn't mention this to you, but kind of the same thing that happened to me with Factorio, where love Minecraft, played it a lot. I get the urge to play Minecraft every now and then, but this time I had the urge to play it. You set up the server, played it a little bit, and I was like, that's it. That's the end. Like I think that's the last time I will have that urge to play Minecraft, because this time it didn't hook me like it usually does. And so I kind of bounced off of that. Avowed's a great game. I enjoy playing it. But as soon as I stop playing it, I just have zero desire to go back to it. So I probably have 5 or 6 hours into that game and I just haven't touched it in a week. So I'm kind of just bouncing between things. I am playing a little bit of a game, so to speak. So I mentioned last time that we've got the trip to Japan coming up. So I've been taking learning Japanese pretty seriously. I'm trying to do at least 30 minutes a day using the Busu app. And they have a nice way of like, you get a certain number of points for each course you complete. And so I have to get 60 points per day. Plus there's like a leaderboard, so I can see other people on the leaderboard that I get like grouped together for the week. And it's like, you want to be at the top of the leaderboard, and the top 10 people out of 30 get moved to the next league. So I've been doing that a lot, and it's crazy because I know all of the hiragana alphabet. I know all of the katakana alphabet. I know probably 15 kanji so far. And it's crazy that I can kind of read Japanese now. And the nice thing about Japanese is that, especially if you're looking at katakana, a lot of times it's just a Japanese spelling of a foreign, typically English word. Like tennis is tennisu. So if I look at that and I spell it out and I sound it out, I go ten su, and I go, oh, tennis. That's what it's saying. So now I'm like looking around my room and I have like the Gundam poster that I got from Jake, and I've got like Hasegawa models, and I look at the box and I'm like, oh, that says Apache Longbow. And I'm like, Apache Longbow, because that's what the model is, you know? And so it's really cool. And the other day I was on Blue Sky, and I saw somebody who it just got fed to me by the algorithm. They posted a picture and their username was in, I think it was a mix of hiragana and katakana. And I was like, oh, let me read this. I want to read what their username is. And I was like, Sukibide Maku. And then I was like, I don't know if I have it. And I clicked into it. And the profile said, hi, I'm a VTuber known as Skibbity Miku. And I was like, God damn it. So now it's at the point where I'm like, I know enough Japanese to read it, but I have to be careful that I'm like reading the actual Japanese and not just some fucking otaku who's like, oh, I'm going to bastardize my name into Japanese. And
can you read the local chat thing?
Where is it?
Oh, here, let me transition to it. It'll show up on the screen. I just translated.
Yeah, that's Roka. Okay, wait. I'm getting this. That's Rokaru. Oh, I forgot what that one is. It's Rokaru. Oh, it's probably local chat now that I'm reading it out loud. It's Rokaru. I forgot what that one is, but that's Ya Cha Chawutu. Chato. Yeah, it's Rokal Chato. That's what it is. There's one letter I can't recognize. And then at the bottom is Gemu. I just learned that word. So that's Gemu. Gemu no pa pon ka pokatsto. Ponkatsto. It's Gemu no Podcast, which means games podcast.
Good. I'm glad it makes sense.
I read that. Holy fuck.
It was translated for you, so don't.
It actually, yeah, that does help. But it actually is not just a literal translation, because as you can tell, like it's not local. It's Rokaru. You know. The first symbol. I'll give you a hint. That first symbol. The square, the box.
Yeah.
It's row, and I remember that because I look at it and I go, block, row, blocks.
I hate
That's
you.
how I remember it. It's a block, row, blocks. Yeah.
I had a reel a while ago. I want to say it was Korean though, but I think this applies to a lot of languages that use English words. But the host was talking to someone, some comedy podcast, and they were basically like, they were having the person say Korean words, but they're English words first. But they were saying how, isn't it weird that some Korean words just sound like a person saying the word racistly in English?
Yes.
And he was like, and they were like, what do you mean? And he's like, say like blah, blah, blah. And they say it, and he goes, yep, it does sound exactly like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you saying Roku, like it sounds like you're being racist and saying local chat, but in an accent, but it's sounded out.
That's really what it is. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's I remember seeing a video a while ago from this guy who was like, he was a white guy and he learned Japanese, and he's like, hey, this is gonna sound weird, but if you don't know a word in Japanese, sometimes you can get away with it by just saying the English word with a Japanese accent, because you'd be surprised how close that is to what it is.
It's like the same like French, like most languages, it's like télévision for television. You're just saying television with a French accent, like.
French in Japanese is furansujin. Furansujin. And France is furansu. Furansu. Yeah. So it's like, which is kind of cool, honestly, because it's a little weird that like literally the katakana alphabet is to spell words that are not Japanese. So they don't want to display it in English, but they don't want to use their normal alphabet. So they're like they have a whole special alphabet just for foreign words. But it's cool that they're like, yeah, it's okay. We're just going to flat out use that word, and we're going to add a little bit of our own spin on it, as opposed to like, you know, trying to come up with their translation for it, or, you know, completely rejecting foreign words. Like it's part of that whole like late 19th century push they had, where they just really wanted to modernize and so they're bringing in a lot of foreign words, etc.
Yeah. One last language story, because I was reminded of it today when we just went to Costco before this, and someone was waiting for a parking spot and someone else sniped it, like just like took it, and that lady like just drove away. And Karen was like, oh, I'd yell at him. And I was like, you remember when we were in Israel, we were waiting at a mall parking lot to park, and this person pulled out, and we were waiting there for like 5 minutes, and then this guy immediately pulled in while we were waiting there.
Yeah.
And Karen gets out of the car and goes up to him. Karen starts yelling at him in Hebrew. And the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't speak Hebrew. I only speak English. And Karen goes, well, I speak English too. And started yelling at him in English. And then he got back in his car, backed up and left, and we parked. And I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, thank God. Like I would have just drove away, because that's me. Like, even though that guy was being an asshole. And when I say Karen was yelling, it's not like she was yelling, but it's like she's the one to get up and be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is our spot, and get out of this spot. Like, you saw us there.
Yeah.
And we got our spot. And I was like, thank God Karen's here. Thank God she speaks 2 languages. Well, 3. She speaks Spanish pretty well now. And then when we were in Italy, she was just talking to Italian people in like, she knows Italian fairly well, but just from what she picked up, like one of our Uber taxi drivers, she just started talking to him while they were driving. And he was like holding a basic conversation. And I was like, how do you do that? Like, I wish my brain worked like that.
I struggle with languages. I every time we go somewhere, I try to learn enough to get around, but also it's like literally like a brain age challenge where I'm like, let me work my brain for a bit on this, but I don't pick them up easily. I definitely don't.
Yeah, it's we had talked about this before, but like being in a foreign country where people are always talking in a different language,
yes,
you pick up a lot of slang and stuff like that very quickly. So it kind of works out.
Plus, honestly, you'd be surprised. Like, I lived in Lebanon for 4 years, and I never took any sort of Arabic training. Like, and there's people that speak English, but there are plenty of people that didn't. And I learned maybe 15 words while I was there. Like, you can pick up a lot on like body language, social cues, signs, just like one of my biggest tricks was if I went shopping, I knew how much money I had in my pocket, and I would try and keep a rough count of what I was buying, and I would never go over 75% of what was in my pocket. So that when I got to this cash register and I gave them my stuff and they said some number at me, I would just go, here. I would always give them too much, and they'd be like, okay, and they would just give me my change back. Like, I never had to understand the number, because I always had enough money to just throw too much money at them, and they would help me out. So it's cool learning a language, but it's also surprising how much you can get away with not knowing anything, being immersed in it, not even picking it up, but just understanding what's going on. This person's mad at that person, this person's saying a joke, etc. You can pick up a shitload of stuff.
Totally. Awesome. I'm excited for the Japan's trip. Sorry, we've been watching Shogun, and he keeps calling it.
We watched Shogun too.
There's a Shogun 2.
Ajin-sama.
That's a book I really want to read, but everyone's like, you shouldn't read it. Like, it's okay. Or
who's saying that?
Not you shouldn't read it, but it's just like, it's the first of 5 books, and it's and they're just long.
But to be clear, I'm pretty sure there are big time jumps between each of them, so it's not like a 5-part story.
Right. But every time I Google that book, because I want to read it, people are like, if you read this book, you will either not like it or you will like it, but it is slow and like a very slow paced book. And I'm like, okay.
It's high, but like, okay, but let's be honest here. We're smart people and we like to read books. That sounds like something people that don't like to read books or idiots would say, right? Like, we've read enough big, long, slow books,
I guess,
like The Name of the Rose, etc. And it's like, we're fine.
Yeah,
we're fine with it.
It's just not like the thing holding me back from reading it is that it is a big, slow book. It's like, I don't feel like taking on one of those right now. Is more of what I mean.
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, not that it's bad or anything, but just like, hey, you're gonna commit to this book, and I think it's just not what I want right now. But also on top of that, knowing even with time jumps that it's part of a big saga would be like, I'd still have that pull to be like, time for the next book.
I need to look it up though, because I remember when Shogun came out, everybody said it's fantastic, and then they were like, a second season has been greenlit, and everybody's like, what do you mean? like it ends, the book ends, that is based on ends. Like, what do you go to next? So I'm not even sure how connected the books are, honestly.
I haven't. We're on episode, I think we just watched episode 5. So I didn't realize, is the first season of the show is the entire book?
I believe so. I believe that's the entire book. And I believe that it's not like the second book is a continuation. I think they are like completely different. I could be mistaken on this, but I believe it's like jump ahead 200 years, completely different characters. I'm not even sure it takes place in Japan or something. So that's why I'm like, don't think of it as 5 books. Think of it as like one book by this author, and he has others like it.
Yeah, I just assumed since it was a long book, the first season wouldn't be the entire book, but that's wild.
I'll look it up real quick while you talk about Avowed.
Is that what the A stands for?
I think it is.
It is. It does stand for Avowed. I've been playing Avowed in Minecraft a little bit. I'm the same on Minecraft. I keep popping. So here's the problem. This is the big problem I ran into, which is we started up the server, and then I was like, oh, I got to play this on stream. Like, this is the stream server. I want to experience Minecraft on stream. And then I went away.
I have an answer.
Oh, you have an answer.
Sorry, this is going to blow your mind. Okay, you ready? It is Shogun is one of 6 novels called The Asian Saga.
Yes.
Written by James Clavell between 1962 and 1993. Okay. They were not written and published in chronological order, but I will give them to you in chronological order because they're all historical, right? Shogun, set in feudal Japan 1600. Taipan, set in Hong Kong 1841. Gaijin, set in Japan 1862. King Rat, set in a Japanese POW camp in Singapore 1945. Noble House, set in Hong Kong 1963. And Whirlwind, set in Iran 1979. So yeah, think of them as completely different books is what it sounds like.
Okay. And then what did you figure out if the first season was the whole book?
Let me just skip to the bottom of this plot. Yes.
Okay, cool.
So that's why when people were like, there's a season 2, they were like, what do you mean there's a season 2?
Well, what if they did the second book? Could they do that?
But the other thing is that, the Edo era is, Shogun set in 1600, but they could go to the Tokugawa era, which I think starts around 1700. So there are other pivotal moments in Japanese history that they could do with continued seasons of Shogun that I think would be good. Like I just watched Last Samurai, which is like 1870s, 1880s Japan. That was another critical moment, like the end of the samurai, the great modernization, Commodore Perry and the gunboat treaty. I forget what they call it, but basically the US rolls up with gunboats and is like, you're going to sign a trade agreement. Otherwise, we're going to come back with more military, like a forced end of Japanese isolationism, basically. So there's other pivotal moments that the series could go forward with in Japanese history.
Great. I'm glad we have that answer. Minecraft. So yeah, I went away and I came back, and again, I'm not mad about this, but
it's not that big a deal. Come on now.
What?
That Jake did a whole bunch on the server?
Oh, no. That's not what I was going to say. I got back and I was just like, I'm talking about, I'm not mad that I wanted to limit stuff to me playing on the server, because I got back and I finished my house and now I'm like, what am I going to do? Like work on Jake. I don't care that Jake did stuff. My only issue with that is like, there was stuff he did that I would have liked to have on stream, like while we were like to show things, but I guess I didn't know Jake knew Minecraft that well, and I also I wasn't clear about like what we were doing in the game. But no, in no means am I like mad Jake was playing the game.
But like I get that, but part of me is also like, I think we should beat Minecraft in this little stint we're doing, and the only way we're going to do that is if Jake is leapfrogging us to the next pivotal moments. Like I think next stream is nether shit, right? Because if we keep doing this leapfrogging, I think in 3 or 4 episodes we could be at the end, basically.
Yeah, that's true. I think the issue for me is I always hate missing out on stuff, and I like it's this stuff being done for me makes me not want to play the game. It's like when we played Factorio and you would do things, or when we played other things.
Yeah.
And it's not Jake's fault. It's not your fault in those games. And same with Satisfactory. It's like I just lose interest because I don't know what to do anymore, and I don't.
Yeah, that's where in order for that to not be a problem, you've got to have like a nice task board where one person doesn't do everything. There's always something for you to work on and focus on, so you feel like you're contributing, and we're all kind of contributing the same amount, and that can be tough to juggle in any of these games.
I realized if I want to, because I haven't played Minecraft since the last time we played Minecraft, and that was Sky Factory. Like I don't know anything about any like caves, underwater stuff, all that stuff. So I think I basically decided like I need to just sit down and play Minecraft single player by myself and go through everything, because like that's the only way I'm going to experience, because there's so much stuff at Jake's house that I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like there's bees, there's flour, he's putting like terracotta down, there's a camel. I'm just like,
all that enchanting stuff. Like I never touched.
There's like a table. There's like new tables for things, and I'm like, what is this shit? Like, and it makes me mad at Minecraft,
Jake, right?
No,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, fuck. Because I'm just like, why? Like, why is this like this? Like, this is math is math. Minecraft is Minecraft, and so it's just weird because the digging game has become so much more than just digging, and I'm stuck in the like I'm still doing things that don't matter anymore because it's not in Minecraft anymore, like certain stuff. So it's just weird, and I have to get used to it. Because I was doing fucking stuff, and then all of a sudden I like went over to our warehouse, the thing you built, and I was just like, what? Like there's pale oak now? Like there's just white. I made a white fence, and I was like, I don't know.
Even building it, as I'm like trying to organize this stuff, I'm like, I don't fucking know what this is, but I guess it needs a bin. It's crazy.
Yeah. So Minecraft's going well. It's fun. I'm trying to limit it to stream time just because I also get waste hours away. But Avowed, I am playing Avowed. I'm 20 hours in so far. I enjoy Avowed. The combat in Avowed is very fun. And it is the first game in a long time that I have fully engaged with the magic system. I think the magic system in Avowed is really cool. I have a wand in one hand and a grimoire in the other, and I'm like casting spells, shooting the wand, and then on my D-pad I have a couple different spells over there.
Is that enough for you? Because for me, I was kind of the same as you, where I have that aquabus, and I'm like, this is great for range, and then I'm like, oh, I need a sword and shield for close up, and I couldn't find a spot or get my head turned around of like, I should go into the magic because I had such a good loadout like you did. So how did you make that switch to doing the magic?
Well, so I had the grimoire and a knife at first, then I had a grimoire and the sword, and my might is like, I think it's at 2 now. It was at 1 forever. So I was like, why am I using a sword? I don't do that much damage. So I switched to a wand because I have pretty good wand damage. So I have a grimoire and a wand. I have the arquebus in the other thing. I fucked up though. I fucked up. Lord forgive me. I went to a merchant in the 3rd zone, and the lady was like, I fucking have this. I like just talked to her immediately, and she's like, oh, I see you noticed the like inlaid arquebus I have on the wall. It's fucking sweet, ain't it? And I was like, I didn't fucking notice it, but now I want it. And it was only 2,000 gold. So I bought it off that bitch, and I sold him my arquebus because I said, this thing's so much better. Ian, it is not. It has different. It has like it's a shotgun, I guess. which I didn't realize. It has spread. I go to aim for headshots and it just misses. And I'm like, I hate this. So I need to go back to that town to see if I'm hoping I can just buy my old gun off of her and sell this one back because I hate it. But so that's I always keep that in my other slot because I do like having a gun for range. But yeah, the wand is really good because it like auto homes in when you're spamming it. And then the grimoire is great because if you have a grimoire and you know a spell in the grimoire, it casts that spell at one level higher if you're using a grimoire. So in the wizard track, I didn't realize the abilities menu had multiple things for a really long time.
I knew it, and then I forgot, and then I remembered like 4 or 5 skill points later, and I was like, oh.
I've reset my skill points twice. So now they're pretty mapped out, but I've upgraded the grimoire and then I've upgraded a couple spells. So my like winter blizzard spell is pretty on top. So I'll tree root people to the ground. Winter, I have a lightning spell, and I can make like flames come around me and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really enjoying that magic system. The only thing that I really wish this game needs like an MMO hotbar. I would really like that for all my spells, because the 4 D-pad slots, especially with the up and down being taken by the health potion and everything, is too much. I don't like the wheel that much. I like that your companions, you can order them to use their skills, but they also seem to naturally just use them, which is very nice, because there's a lot of games that don't do that. So sometimes I open that menu and I want to use one of their skills and they've used it, and I'm like, should I be mad that it's doing this? No, because it's good that they're using it, and I'm not. I'm mad I don't have it right now, but I'm glad they're using it. And then, but other than that, Ian, and this is an insult, and I apologize sincerely.
You can't say this word. We talked about this, Will.
I button through every single conversation.
Will, what the fuck? Because some of it's good. What the fuck?
Some of it, sure. I'm sure some of it is. I don't give a flying fuck about the storyline. I'm really bored by it. I hate the stupid, mysterious voice in your head. It's not mysterious anymore for me, but I hate all that shit. And I am especially people I don't care about button mashing through that shit. Some of the conversations I will just read the lines fast and then skip like normal.
Yeah, that's fine.
Most people do. But yeah, some of the, like, especially side quests and stuff like that, I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. I don't care.
That's fucking crazy, because all the writing's very good and the quests are very good.
The writing's very good, but it started to get repetitive for me. There were a lot of, and I don't know if you've listened to the latest Next Land or previous, but Vinny was talking about how there's those grave robbers, and you can be like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you guys. Yes. And one of the guys like, wait, I don't want to fight, and he leaves. That happens like 2 more times with other people.
Oh, jeez.
And not in the exact same way, at least as far as I can remember, but that option opens up, and it's cool that option is there, but it just like feels like I just used it once and now it's happening again, which in reality it should happen again, because who wants to fight? But it just feels like, oh, it's happening again. And that was kind of annoying, but overall, like, I feel like I've really lost the plot on a lot of things. Like, I know the general narrative, like, and I'm paying attention to the general narrative and that stuff, but I'm just so it feels like it's a little up its own ass about it in a way that I'm just like, I'm like, I don't care that much. I just want to get through it and see what's happening. The cool thing is, I will say, there is a faction in this game that I really don't like. And at every opportunity, I have cursed them out and pissed them off. And both times I have encountered them, I have been allowed to kill them with 0 ramifications so far. So it's like really funny, because I'm just refugees.
It's like the poor people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the poor people and there's some homosexuals, so I had to get rid of them, and some of those light skinned. So, but it's neat that this faction, and they play them pretty evil, but to be just like, how many games are you playing where the evil guy's talking and you have to like side with them? Where I'm just like, no, fuck you, and I just kill them.
Yeah.
And they have like a big health bar and everything. It's just like, no, fuck you, sorry.
Nope, fuck you. Done.
So that part's neat. It's a really fun game. I've enjoyed exploring and going around. It's very, like we talked about last week, it is like compressed RPG, like boom, boom, boom. Here's this, here's that.
Yeah.
Here's the different types of weapons. Here's all the stuff, send to your stash, go around, all that sort of stuff. So it's cool. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to try to stick through it. I noticed, I was thinking about this today. The mark of a game Will is waning on is when I leave a session early. I feel like most sessions of a video game, you're like, I'm done for now. But there's games where I'm just like, I know I'm done with them when it's like, I'm just gonna stop playing and maybe play something else. That's when. So that hasn't happened yet. I've still been playing it. It's still quick resume. So it's going pretty well. I like Avowed, and I apologize for skipping through some of the stuff, but it is well written, but it is verbose, and I don't know why voice acting plus subtitles makes me want to go through it faster. Because if it was just subtitles, I think I would sit there and read everything better than waiting.
Yeah.
So who knows? Those are the games we've been playing, which means it's time for the news. Ian Gibson, you've collected all of the news from all of the internet for the last 2 weeks.
That's right. 2 weeks worth of news right here. We've got some cool news stories. We've got some troublesome news stories. First up, we talked about this previously with Ocarina of Time being ported to the PC. But folks, them wily modders have done it again. They have ported Sonic Unleashed to the PC, specifically the Xbox 360 version of Sonic Unleashed. They have used Xbox 360 recompilation for the first time, fully successful, to take a 360 game and turn it into a PC game running at 4K, 60 FPS, and all sorts of PC settings in it. To be clear, this is different from emulation. Emulation is taking, software that is pretending to be a console and running the game just like that console would. This is them basically pulling the game apart and then putting it back together in a way that it runs natively on a PC, but then also adding all sorts of, like there's a settings menu now with different options and things. And apparently the way that they've done this, similar to what happened with the N64 recompilation, is that they have certain tools that they can easily apply to other games. So they can take any 360 game, use these tools and a little bit of tweaking and massaging, and turn out fantastic PC ports. This is wild, right? Because I just realized this is only 2 gens back that we are now able to get these recompilation ports on the PC. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. It's especially cool because it means I don't have to go buy a copy of a 360 game and try to get it running on my 360 and all that jazz, or see if it's backwards compatible. Like,
yep,
I can do this. This is awesome. Is this something? Sorry, I didn't read the full thing. Is this something people are just doing it to other games yet, or they haven't released the tool?
I'm not sure if the tool's available. This is the first release of a Xbox 360 recompilation on the PC. I'm assuming it's like the N64 project where the tool is available, but it still requires a decent amount of work to convert a game into a native PC port version. But I'm guarantee you there's probably all sorts of different communities who are now looking at their favorite 360 games and trying to get those recompiled into PC versions. I don't know what's next, but it's probably going to be games like Sonic Unleashed that have like a niche fan community, difficult to play on the 360 or newer consoles that are not available on the PC, etc. So this is really cool because, I like emulation, but even the best of emulation is just running like an up-resed console game. This is really cool in that it gets you higher frame rates, gets you higher true resolution, mod support, anti-aliasing, and it feels more native than having to dig into an emulation or an emulator settings. So this is a really cool trend in gaming that I like.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm gonna download this, and I forgot about the N64 stuff. I'm gonna download a few of those.
Yeah, there's Ocarina of Time, and I think there's one other that came out recently that has also been recompiled.
There's the Zelda 64 recompiled. I assume it's both the 64 games. In that.
Could be, yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool. It's funny, the reinstall of Windows 11, the first thing I went and did was reinstall the Warcraft 3 stuff I had. I reinstalled OpenRTC for Roller Coaster Tycoon, and then I went and reinstalled the Heroes. Someone made a Heroes of Might and Magic 2 like fan engine to run like a better.
Cool.
It's not. It uses none of the original game, but it's rebuilt to work on modern systems, which is pretty neat. So, I love that shit. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, I really wish I had gone down that track in life and knew that stuff, but I'm also really glad I don't, because I feel like my life would be dominated by that. For sure.
You'd be a sicko. You're a different kind of. You're a Napoleon sicko.
Yeah.
So speaking of some other cool things, we're going to take a little stop in the AI containment space. I don't know if you saw this, but Anthropic, who is most known for their Claude model, like Claude 3.5 and their more recent Claude 3.7 Sonnet, said that part of their training and kind of calibration and testing of their models includes letting the model play the Game Boy Classic Pokemon Red. So one of the new features of these OpenAI models and DeepSeek and Claude models, etc., is what's called extended thinking. So the idea is, normally the model is trained on a set of data. You ask it a question and it just spits back like a first answer, right? First, maybe a second, maybe it'll do 3 times iteration. These new models have the ability to do extended thinking, or I think ChatGPT calls it deep thinking, but the idea is like either you specifically tell it or it decides on its own that, you know what, I'm going to spend some time going through more iterations and reasoning cycles to try and get to a root answer instead of just spitting out the first thing that comes. It's almost like us, right? It's like instead of spitting out the first thing that comes to your mind, you're going to pause, you're going to think about it a little bit, and then you're going to come back with an answer, right? So one of the ways they've been doing that is by having the game play Pokemon Red. They didn't specifically say like what they trained the game on before they started it, but essentially they take the model, they present it Pokemon Red, they allow it to put in inputs and see the game, and then they say play the game, right? And they're using this to kind of judge these different models and how well they're doing. And if you look at the progress, it's actually kind of crazy. So the 3.0 Sonnet, which is an older model, started the game but didn't get anywhere. Some of the other models left the house. They got their starter Pokemon. They would get to Viridian City. The latest model has gotten, what is that? 4 badges or 3 badges that it's been able to do. And again, this is just having the model sit down in front of this game. Like the model has not been specifically trained on this game. It's been trained as a generic model, but it is able to play a large portion of Pokemon Red and get several badges. It does take a while. It takes a long time. I think they may have a Twitch channel now where you can watch it play. But this is this is one of those things where AI up to this point has kind of been like, I don't know if you've heard the acronym of the Chinese room. I think that's what it's called.
Maybe
we've got some time. I'll explain it to you real quick. It's an older explanation, but basically it's somebody explaining how they don't believe that computers have intelligence, no matter how well programmed they are. And they give the acronym of a Chinese room of you're a person, you're put into a room. The room is completely empty, but in front of you, you have a book, right? And the book says, if you get this symbol, and there's like a slot. There's like a single slot between the room and the outside of the room. And every now and then somebody will pass a symbol into the room. And you have a book in front of you that says, when you get this symbol, hand another symbol back, right? So when you see a symbol that looks like a tree, hand a symbol that looks like an apple, right? And so the idea is if you're in that room and you're there for an endless amount of time, you can get pretty good at always handing back the correct symbol, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine that the book is not just symbols. Imagine that it's Chinese, right? Imagine that somebody is handing you a question in Chinese and you're handing back an answer in Chinese, but you don't know Chinese. So the question is, do you know Chinese if you always return the correct answer to the slot? And the answer is no. You don't know it. All you've learned is like basic pattern recognition, basic like, I know this is this response, but you don't know Chinese and you don't know the content of the messages.
And like you're saying, tree and apple, you may know the answer to tree is apple, but you might not know why apple is the answer to tree.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of the statement is it doesn't matter how accurate the model gets, and it doesn't matter how fast it gets. If it's never truly understanding the content and all it's doing is returning the right answer because it knows that's the right answer, then it's not reasoning at all. And that's kind of been like literally for decades, that's been the idea of like, if we keep training computers to do this, they're not actually reasoning. They're just getting very good at knowing the right answer to return. This, though, again, I don't think this is artificial general intelligence, but this is different, right? Like if I sit my niece or nephew down and I give them Pokemon Red, I would be impressed if they got this far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. This is, the other thing is there's parameters that a machine has when playing Pokemon that a kid, your nephew and niece sitting down doesn't have, you know?
Yeah. Like it has a lot more knowledge. It will understand a lot of things, but still the idea of you are handing it a Pokemon game and not telling it.
Yeah.
It is having to reason from what it is seeing and doing in the game. It has to reason what is expected of it. You know, oh, I have to go. Oh, it wants me to visit the professor. Oh, I should go to the lab. Yeah. What is the lab? Oh, that looks like a lab. Like, again, I don't think this is artificial general intelligence, but that is reasoning very, very similar to what I do when I play the game. Oh, my mom said I need to go to the lab. One of these buildings looks like the lab. Oh, that looks like a lab. Let me go in there. You know, this feels like a big leap forward to me, honestly.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you locked your niece and nephew in a chair playing Pokemon and wouldn't let them out until they had to sit there and play the game, they might get that far.
Yes.
Like they're not going to get that far because they're going to get bored. They're going to leave. They're not going to stick with it. So that's the other difference is this AI is sitting there forced to play. But
that's the scary thing. That's the scary thing though, right? Is that in that situation, they don't have the human flaw of attention span, but they do have enough reasoning and recognition to still accomplish the task.
Exactly.
So yes. So it's just crazy to see. It's cool to see this in a video game sense in terms of also like, let's judge how this model, how smart it actually is at reasoning and handling complex situations. And the best and easiest way to do that is hand them a video game, you know, as opposed to all the people who would say video games are a waste of time, etc. You know, you couldn't do this by handing them a TV show and saying, watch this TV show and tell me what happened. That's too easy, quite frankly. You know, video games are difficult. There is definitely a learning curve with video games. It's just that we went through that learning curve when we were 3 or 4 or 5 years old, you know, whether it's input or understanding the systems or what's expected of you.
Mm-hmm. Wild stuff.
Crazy. Hey, speaking of wild stuff, you see this Activision shit?
No.
Okay, imagine this. Close your eyes.
Closing.
Okay, you're scrolling through Instagram.
Oh, too fast. Can I slow down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait. You just got an advertisement.
Oh.
It's an advertisement for something called Guitar Hero Mobile.
What? Hell
There's a Guitar Hero Mobile game coming out. Okay. It's from like the Activision account.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I don't remember hearing about. Do you remember hearing about Guitar Hero Mobile? You remember it
No.
being announced?
No.
Okay, maybe you should click on it and see what it does.
Oh, well, there's two guitars next to me.
Oh, no, actually, it takes you to a website that says, hey, Guitar Hero Mobile is not real, but maybe it could be. Take this survey and tell us if you want it.
Wow. Fuck you.
Yes. So Activision basically used AI art to make fake advertisements for Guitar Hero Mobile, Call of Duty Zombie Defender, Call of Duty Sniper, and Crash Bandicoot Brawl. Ran those ads on platforms like Instagram, and then when people clicked into them, they revealed, hey, this game's not real, but maybe it could be. Take this survey to tell us what types of games you want us to make. This is just like, even if you take the AI element out of it, it's just fucked to run that type of advertisement for a game that does not exist.
The top comment here is so gamer, which is, he's a little more upset than I am. In my view, mobile games have effectively been slopped from the start. They're all glorified advertisements anyways.
Jesus.
This is just the next evolution of mobile game stupidity. Like, okay, sure, guy, but also this is, like, there's no difference between in Activision's mind, they could run these ads with a regular console game. Like, they're not doing mobile.
Yeah.
Like, they're just starting somewhere. So, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's the classic, I didn't say anything until they came for me.
Yeah. And I forgot about this crazy part. This is from the PC Gamer article. They say, quote, clicking on any of these leads you to a spoof store page with more AI generated garbage, including fake review scores, downloads, and age ratings. Click install. And they finally give up the charade, writing, thanks for your interest. This isn't a real game, but it could be someday. We'd love if you could answer this short survey, end quote. Like, it wasn't just click on this and we show the survey. It was, here's a fake store page with fake reviews. This is dumb. Like, I love the idea of surveys and listening to surveys, but doing it in such a shit ass way with fake games.
This is probably all marketing too. This probably there's zero studios attached to any of these. So it's not like it could be real someday. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're going to suddenly order? Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's apparently from Geek Lab, which I guess is, they don't say here, but they are affiliated with Activision. I'm not sure if they're their marketing firm or internal studio or whatever, but it's so bad. And like I said, putting the generative AI on top of it as well to come up with this shitty stuff is just like the shit cherry on top, you know?
Yeah. It's funny too, the AI slop part of this is the least worst part, in my opinion.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It's still awful.
Like, okay, look, I'm not going to say I would excuse this, but if this was a non-Activision company, if this was a company not affiliated with Activision, I would be like, yeah, there's like shitty companies out there. But the fact that is Activision doing this to their own property, and as somebody who has this clout and presence in the gaming industry, stooping so low as to do this bait and switch just for a survey.
Yeah.
Wild.
That Crash Bandicoot logo is AI generated too, right?
The Brawl one? Yeah. Apparently it's all AI generated.
And there's like a random rope underneath the L for no reason.
Yeah. God. Yeah. So they AI generated the images and the fake store page and the fake reviews just to get people to click through into the survey.
This is not to praise newer AI generated stuff, but this is bad AI generated. This isn't even like newer okay stuff.
No, this is like you look at it for 5 seconds and you tell it's off.
Yeah, the lady in the background is she's just thighs. There's no rest of her legs. I mean, I'd be fine with a woman who's just thighs, but
yeah, that's crazy. Speaking of crazy, unfortunately, Warner Brothers has closed down Monolith Productions and the Multiversus studio, as well as canceling the Wonder Woman game that Monolith was working on. Shit, man. Monolith made some great games. I'm pretty upset about this. How about you?
They finally watched our duo review of Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. And
we did do one of Shadow of War.
and they said, you know what, if Duo Reviews didn't like it, then maybe we should back up Monolith.
All right,
No,
but
this
listen
sucks.
up, asshole. They also made Fear.
No, I
and
know.
Fear
I
2.
know.
Yeah.
Monolith
And the Matrix
actually,
Online.
I remember playing the Fear
And Condemned.
demo.
And Condemned. I didn't know they did Condemned as well.
We played that on a Spooky Pixel, right?
We did, yeah. I played it. It was still spooky.
I think.
Yeah, this just felt like a studio that was putting out great games, even when they didn't have a hit like Gotham City Imposters. It was always like something interesting or different. They came up with the Nemesis system, which was fantastic. The Fear AI, the crazy
Matrix
like
Online?
abandoned building fights of Condemned. Yeah, Matrix Online has a lot of fans, and so this just continues. You know, what we've heard about from Wonder Woman is that they didn't really have a clear direction, so they kept spending years going in one direction and then completely rebooting the project in a different direction, and it took too much time and too much money, and you just don't have support from WB leadership. They'd rather, you know, cancel everything and have it as a tax write-off. It sucks, but I'm hoping those people, they've been working on Wonder Woman presumably since Shadow of War, which was 2017. So 8 years. So I'm hoping those people that were tied down to a game that got canceled are now going to scatter, find places at other studios, start their own studios, and we're going to have a bunch of Monolith quality games coming out in the next 3-4 years. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. What's your dream Nemesis system game?
You know, one of the rumors with Wonder Woman was that they had the Nemesis system in Wonder Woman, but it was not the Nemesis system. It was like an ally system. So as you're going through the game, like imagine in Spider-Man, you know how you have those side quests and you're like stopping random things from happening. Like, oh, you're going to stop this heist. This person's getting mugged. What if as you're doing that, you're befriending those people, and later on they may randomly show up and help you out in fights or show up and give you stuff. So the idea was all the people that you've helped along the way will reappear throughout the game. And I like that take of the Nemesis system, because the Nemesis system is fantastic. I add that in a whole bunch of different games, but the idea of flipping it and having it as an ally system, like the more people you help, the more they will help you randomly throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
That feels really cool. What about you?
I was thinking another Mercenaries game. You do how the first Mercenaries had the 52 cards. You do like that sort of system again, but those 52 cards are like they're your Nemesis generated like per person, you know, like per everyone's game. So it's like it make it like Cartel or whatever, Sys Mafia or something, and you just got to go take them down. So,
but I think that plus AI. In terms of, okay, now each of those Nemesis, make them an AI agent where they hear about your good things. Their one goal is fucking you over. What would they do? And now they're going to kind of have like an AI agent in terms of like, some of them will try and fuck your base over. Some of them will try and figure out where you are. Some of them will kill the companions that you keep, hanging out with. Some of them notice that you like to drive a lot, so they start setting up roadblocks where you're driving the most. Like a Nemesis system plus the dynamism of like an AI agent that is trained just to fuck you over because they hate you.
That's the AI. That's the AI we want in games. Is like, I don't want the AI generated stuff. I don't want any of that. I want this AI learning part to take the stuff that is in the game and my player inputs and spit things back out at me. Like that's the hard part of when you're into like saying what is good about AI, like in games, like, because I guess it is nice that I was thinking how Steam labels it now, but Steam labels it generative AI. So at least like you don't have to worry, like if you're using it properly or the way people kind of want it to be used, you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, that'd be super awesome if they did that.
Because that's the thing is that this is not a new concept, but it is like the new buzzword is all about AI agents. So if you remember ChatGPT originally, you would talk to ChatGPT and it has some guardrails around it that the company has put in place, but other than that, it's just an open fucking chatbot, right? So you can ask it math questions. You can say, "How was your day?" You can say, "Write me a poem," right? It's wearing a bunch of different hats, but it's not necessarily doing many of them that well. So the whole new big thing is agents. So the idea is a company or you yourself have taken, one of these open models and you've said, think about like a customer support chatbot where you're like, "Hey, go through all our customer support documents so you understand our product exactly. Go through all this training so that you know what it means to talk like a customer support agent.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to train you. Okay, now here are your guardrails. You're not allowed to answer any questions except for about our product. And now that's an agent, right? So it's a very specific purpose that it has been trained on and dedicated to, and it won't stray from that. Do the same thing for these characters in video games, right? Like a nemesis that starts out as you are a bad guy, right? You're in an open world, you're a bad guy, you can go around and you don't like these guys, you want to make money and you can get at these locations, right? But then like you're saying, hey, if you encounter the player character or if you encounter any of these other tier of characters, NPCs or player, and they do something against you, they're now your enemy, and now your goal has changed. Now you need to figure out how to do this. Now you need to, if they stole your gun, then you need to find a new gun. Like all this stuff happens in video games now, like really good video games, but it's fake, right? It's behind the scenes. It's very simple if then statements, or I don't want to say in the worst cases, but in a lot of cases, it's purely scripted, but it's scripted in a way that feels like it's real. But you look at the code and you go, "Oh, they would always do this and then that and then that." They're running a script that feels realistic to us as the player, but it's always going to happen that way. Get the fucking AI agents in there, plus the Nemesis system. Like, holy shit, that would be awesome. Like the example I gave earlier. Like, if you're playing a game and you always pick the same cars and you always take the same route, why can't the enemy learn that? And why can't they start booby trapping your cars? Why can't they start, checkpoints on that intersection that you always fucking use? That's what we want, is smart AI.
Yeah. I was also like, I agree with you, but also that's going to make games hard. Like, that's where you got to be like, oh, hey, we got to dial this back because this guy's cutting me off every single time. And yeah. Rogue AI in a video game.
Yeah, but you could build a lot of systems in there, so it's like, yeah, sure, they can set up a roadblock, but they have to spend money to get supplies, so they have to get money. So they're almost like you, where they don't have unlimited resources like they currently would as a game AI. All their stuff has to be accounted for and earned on their own, so they're fucking around at the world at the same time as you are, like a GTA world where they're trying to pull heists to get money, to get more guns and cars, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? This is my heist. What do you mean why are you robbing this store? I was gonna rob this store.
And then the AI figures out how to get into the code of the video game like a speedrunner would. And so he starts glitching and giving himself infinite money so he can be better than you.
God, could you imagine the speedruns of a game like that, though, where they're like, all right, we're going to do this very specific set of behavior for the next 5 minutes because it's going to train the AI NPCs to then do what we're doing. And if we get enough of them to do it, it's going to like rewrite the code,
I wonder if that's in a like Dragon's Dogma thing. Like, I got to train on a different account. I have to train this guy to throw enemies a bunch and then get back in. And that guy needs to throw me. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Is that it for news?
So anyways, yeah. Sorry to hear about Monolith. But I do think there's a silver lining here, which is they are now free of WB games, which is quickly circling the drain. So hopefully like I said, they'll go elsewhere and make some fantastic games.
Yeah, that sucks. Content call out. Is that what this is? Ian Gibson, I assume you put this here.
I did. We've do you recognize this game? We've talked about it before on a previous wishlist spotlight.
Yes, this is the Mongolian game. Am I correct?
Yes, it is a horse taming game about 13th century Mongolia. It looks incredible. It's called Windstorm: The Legend of Kimori. It's an open world action adventure set in 13th century Mongolia with horses at its core. So it's all about, taming wild horses, training them up, building up your horse trading empire. There's a little bit of combat, but it's mostly you versus either hunting animals or trying to protect yourself against predatory animals. But there's not like war or human versus human combat in here. It looks incredible. We've talked about it before, and folks, it is now on Kickstarter. It is fully backed. It's almost at double its pledge, and I'm proud to say that I pledged this. But you should definitely go out there and pledge as well. They've got some stretch goals they're trying to hit. I believe if you pledge for the game, you will get into the alpha test, which is coming in the next couple. There's an alpha play test in the spring. They're going to do early access release in 2025, summer of 2025, and a release, I believe, spring of 2026. The game's on Unreal Engine 5. It looks incredible, and I love the idea of this is not a combat game. This is just a like an authentic, tame, breed your horses and trade your horses. I love that concept. Let's get some more unique concepts like this and the game doesn't have to look like a shitty little indie game. It can look fantastic at the same time.
Yeah, this is awesome. I think I might also back this as well. For let's see, the maximum $7,500 for studio visit. I'm gonna put that on the Subpixel credit card.
Is that the one that comes with the tube of horse semen?
Well, you can have it because I already have a.
You can keep it.
I already have a tube. Really wakes you up in the morning.
Jeez.
Folks.
Okay, Joe Rogan.
Speaking of Joe Rogan, I'm gonna Joe Rogan this dick, folks. Thank you so much for being here. Great transition right into this song. If you didn't know, this song brought to you by Arby's. We have the meats. Folks, we will be back this weekend. Karen and I are going to play some Split Fiction here on Subpixel. So tune in for that. It's going to be super fun, and we're definitely not going to get frustrated with each other at all, like we do when we play co-op games together sometimes. Ian Gibson has been here. It was super fun to talk to you, sir. I'm your host, Will Crosby. You can find Ian at Think Gibson on the internet. You can find me at Hunt270. Subpixelfilms.com is where you can find all of our hot content. Minecraft next week. More, not local chat next week. It's every 2 weeks now. I gotta get used to that. So we'll have something else next Thursday. Stay tuned. Join the Discord. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.